Today, we are diving into a crucial topic that can make or break your retirement. Whether you're facing an unexpected expense or considering a big purchase, it might seem tempting to tap into your retirement savings. But before you make that move, it's essential to understand the long term consequences of that action. Today, we're going to explore how early withdrawals can impact the power of compound interest, the hefty fees and penalties you could face, and just how much money you could start to lose over the years. By the end of this episode, you will have a clear picture of why keeping your retirement savings intact is one of the smartest financial moves that you can make. So sit back and let's get started on securing your financial future.
Welcome to the Financial Mirror. Where future success is reflected in our knowledge of fixing the one thing we can control, ourselves.
Welcome to the Financial Mirror, and thanks for joining me today as we continue to work to improve the one thing we can control, ourselves. Here at the Financial Mirror, it is not about the numbers and spreadsheets alone, but about transforming and educating you on money so that you can make smarter financial decisions. If this is the first time you are joining in, don't forget to hit subscribe on YouTube to be notified of all the new episodes as they release. If you're listening to this on Rumble, don't forget to follow the channel and like this video. If you're on a podcast platform of your choice, don't forget to like and subscribe to the podcast. If you're on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, leave that 5-star review and a written comment, as both go a long way in getting this information out to more and more listeners. So I do want to dive into this episode. This is something that I am seeing more now than I have tended to hear from clients over the years. And I kind of just wanted to say, you know what, put this out, nip it in the bud. Hopefully it can get across to other listeners. Maybe this is something that you have been tempted to do. I don't know what's driving it. Maybe it's, we are in a, continual inflated economy deal. Things are more expensive. And people may just be needing to pull out money to pay down debt, pull out money to buy something that they have just gone without or whatever. And now they just want to take money out, and they are instantly, first and foremost, thinking of that retirement account as being the source of income for whatever it is that they're trying to purchase. Not a good idea. And today I wanted to cover exactly how that can have an impact on your future, much more than you probably think just by, well, I'm just going to take $10,000 out. I mean, it's just $10,000 plus the penalties and fees, and it may just be like $15,000, but it's not. And that's what I wanted to cover today. There is a huge impact on the amount of compound interest that you are going to be able to take advantage of. There are fees and penalties. There are long-term financial consequences. All of that I did want to cover today in this episode. So the first place that I wanted to start, and first off, let me just stop and say this. If you have questions about any of this, please just drop a comment down in the comment section. I do try to read every single comment and reply to those that have questions as much as I can. I don't get to every single one. I apologize. But if there's questions out there, please drop in the comment section. I will try to get to every single one of those. Now, the first place that I wanted to start was with compound interest. Okay. So compound interest, that was the first place that I wanted to start. Now, when we think about what is compound interest, the easiest way to look at compound interest is that it's a type of interest that accumulates on both the principal and the accrued interest over time. Now, what that means is, and that's kind of hence the word compound, is you have the principal, which is how much you have put in there, and how much money has accrued or how much money has been earned on that principal over time. That is the beauty of it. If you put money into an account, and let's just say you put a flat $1,000 and you never touch it again, that is not $1,000 gaining an 8 to 10% return. That's $1,000, then $1,008, then $1,800, then $12,000, then $15,000, and you never have to put another dollar in there, right? That's the beauty of it, is that you're getting interest calculated against both the principal and the accrued interest. And so what that means is that the interest earned on previous amounts is added to the principal, and then you earn more interest and more interest and more interest. And that is the beauty of it. You hear about it all the time. It's not a crazy complex project to try to figure out compound interest, nor would I want to tell you to really think too hard about it. In simplest form, just know that it's just money being earned on top of what you put in, and then earning money on top of the money earned. If that makes sense. So don't overcomplicate it. You're just putting in some money, and it grows faster because it grows and builds on top of what's already grown. So I've said it 3 different ways. Hopefully one of those landed. If not, drop a comment. I'll try to explain it in a 4th way. So the important part of this is that the longer that you invest money, the more it has time to grow. Now, like for example, if you invested $10,000, let's say you threw $10,000 into the stock market and you invested into the S&P 500 and 7%, let's just go with like a 7% return for 30 years, you would end up with about $76,000 versus 20 years, you'd only have about $38,000. So you can see that the money almost doubles in that 10 years, right? So it does double in 10 years. So that is the beauty of it, is that the only difference in 20 and 30 years is 10 years, right? In 10 years, what you had at 20 actually doubles to what it is at 30, right? Just at a 7% return. So that is huge. That is huge. Now, when we get into kind of the long-term financial consequences, you can see how, hopefully you're already seeing that there is a big penalty for taking that money out. Right? Taking that money out. So the first fees and penalties that I wanted to cover was what the government charges you to withdraw early from a retirement account. Now, this episode is not about retirement accounts. It's not about going into, all the rules and, regulations around how to withdraw and when to withdraw and, minimum distribution amounts and all. Like, we're not going into that in this episode, but what I can tell you is that there is an IRS penalty if you withdraw before the age of 59 and a half on your retirement account investments, right? If you withdraw before 59 and a half, there is a early withdrawal penalty. Normally that penalty is around 10%, right? Kind of just blanket. Huge deal right there. First problem with taking money out of your account early is the immediate cost of what that is, right? So 10%. So if you withdraw $10,000 from your retirement account, you've now given away $1,000, right? So in return, you actually are you're going to withdraw $10,000, and the immediate impact's $1,000. So you're going to take home $9,000, right? Now, that's the first cost of taking money out of your retirement account early, is a 10% penalty. So you've instantly, at that point, given up 10% of your money off the top, just like that. Now, let's get to the next fee, the next penalty that happens when you take money out of your retirement account early. The next one is your income tax. Let's just assume that your income tax is 24%. Like, your income tax rate is 24%. Well, now you're paying $2,400 of income tax on your $10,000, right? So what does that cost? The immediate, and I mean immediate cost, I haven't got to the long term yet, the immediate cost of what it takes for you to withdraw that money early is $3,400. Now, big deal, right? Big deal. You just wanted $10,000 and you paid $3,400 for your 10. So you really had to walk away with $6,600, right? Like, so that's what you actually had whenever it was all said and done. Big deal, right? Big deal. You have simply given away the amount of money that it was in your retirement account. So, in all honesty, now let's do the reverse math here, and just know if you actually needed $10,000, you actually would need to withdraw $15,000, right? Because of the immediate cost, because of the immediate tax and penalties that comes with it, you would need to withdraw $15,000 to walk away with $10,260, somewhere in that neighborhood. Anyways, $15,000, that's what you would need to withdraw. So, big deal. Big deal. You have given away 10% for your penalty, and you've already paid income tax, right? I throw that now. Let's I can already see the comments coming. Yes, if you withdraw at 59.5 and you withdraw from a traditional retirement account, you will still pay the income tax portion. Yes, you're correct. You're correct. Before that makes it to a comment section, yes. So that's not out of the norm, right? It is still money that you've taken in as income, but the 10% penalty is off the top, like you gave that money away. Like that was your money and you gave it away. So, but I still want you to think about it. In the short term, those are the two. That's the fee and the fee and the tax or penalty or whatever. The fee is the income tax. The penalty is that 10%. Immediate reduction in your retirement savings. So, if you had $50,000 set aside in retirement, you've now withdrawn 10, you're down to 40,000. Now that's 40,000 in total account value that's going to be growing every single year. So, going back to our initial example, of an initial $10,000 investment, it would have grown to $38,000 in 20 years, and in that next 10, it would have doubled to $76,000. So keep that in mind. You've taken 10,000 away. That's reducing the compoundability in your money. Now, that's just the immediate. Let's look at the long-term financial consequences, because that's the big difference. So there's no better way to look at this than two examples, right? So on the left hand, we're going to have John. On the right hand, we're going to have Sarah. All right, we got John and Sarah here. So John withdraws $10,000 at age 35 because he wanted a brand new boat, and he found one on sale for $10,000. I don't know if anyone shops on Craigslist anymore, but let's say he found it on Craigslist and it's a legit deal, and he's at age 35. He's buying his boat for $10,000. So let's think this through. John had if he would have left the $10,000 invested at 35, so let's just say, he had the 35,000, or the $10,000 at age 35. If he would have left that invested, he would have ended up with the $76,000 at 65, right? It's just going off our previous examples. Just say the 30 years, roughly 76,000. And I'm saying that's roughly because 7% is could go up, could go down, but just roughly 76,000. He would take in the immediate loss of the 3,400. He would have taken a loss due to the tax and penalties, the 2,400 and the 10, and he would had the 6,600 left over. So the future value. So you take that $6,600. The future value of that money has cost him $50,000 because his future value, his new account value is around $50,000. So, excuse me, the loss was 25,000, right? So he took out 10 and he lost 25, right? Because long term, he took out 10,000, actually made 6,600, but his account value at age 65 is 50,000 instead of the 76,000, right? So just kind of some math there. On the other hand, we have Sarah, and Sarah's going to withdraw $20,000 at 40, right? If Sarah would have left her money invested at age 65, she would have had $108,000. Now, instead, she's going to take that money out. She's going to have the immediate $6,800 in tax and penalties that's going to have to get paid, meaning she is going to actually take home $13,200, right, from her $20,000 invest or withdrawal. And her future value at age 65 is now $40,000, meaning that cost her her $20,000 withdrawal cost her $67,000, right? Big deal here. Big deal. Hopefully you can see they like, it's not just that, well, this is only going to cost me the tax and penalties. No, this is going to cost you a hefty amount of money. For John, his $10,000 withdrawal cost him $25,000. For Sarah, her $20,000 withdrawal cost her $67,000, right? That's a big deal. That's a big deal, because the thing is that we are currently going through a tremendously hard time with people, having to work longer than they need to, for the simple fact that some of the financial decisions that are made are just not advantageous for them to retire early. If the amount of people that I am hearing and seeing take money out of their retirement account to do XYZ with, most people don't understand, and after this episode, I hope you do understand, but most people don't understand the amount of impact that has, right? If you were Sarah and you just lost $67,000, and let's say you were, you went into retirement, house is paid off, all you have is like normal living expenses, and you could live on, let's say, $20,000 a year, you just gave up and now have to work 3 extra years to recoup what you just lost in that piece. And that's not the exact math equation that they're going. I'm just going for simple math here, but you need 3 years extra of work to try to make up for the 3 years you just lost in retirement savings, right? That's kind of like how this whole thing works. Is we rip away and take away our future money, not realizing that, if we're getting a 7% return and we're kind of basing this on the 4% withdrawal principle, 4% rule, or whatever you want, whatever retirement, withdrawal strategy you want to take. There's multiple out there. I've done episodes on them, but whatever withdrawal strategy you want to take, you have shot yourself in the foot if you have now withdrew $20,000 that has reduced the future value of your account by 67, right? Mathematically, it doesn't make sense. So if you're thinking about kind of going through and saying, well, I'm going to withdraw from my retirement account so I can pay off my house, not a good idea. Oh, well, I'm going to withdraw from my retirement account so I can pay down off my debt or pay off all my debt, not a good idea. I'm going to withdraw from my retirement account so that I can buy this new thing, definitely not a good idea. The amount of money that costs you makes that a terrible, terrible, terrible idea, because it's not just the immediate cost that you're going to eat. It's the future value of your retirement account that is going to take the largest impact. Okay. So what can you do? What can you do? There's 3 things that I want to tell you that you can do instead of withdrawing from your retirement account early. Okay. First thing is an emergency fund. So number one thing that people truthfully don't wrap their head around in concept, right? Because people will not differentiate between emergency fund and savings account, right? The emergency fund is meant for a true emergency. It's not your long-term savings account. So the first thing that we have to do is separate where we're saving our money and where's that emergency fund for when bad things happen. Okay, so the first thing you need to do is super important, but you need to build yourself a emergency fund that will keep you from dipping into a retirement savings to try to cover a cost that you're hit with that needs it covered immediately, right? It needs to be paid immediately. Okay. So some things you can do to build a retirement or a emergency fund is to first, if you're in debt, get you $1,000 put into a savings account and don't touch it. Sell things. Go out and work a quick side hustle. Get $1,000 as fast as you can. That will be a slightly thicker cushion than you're probably comfortable with at this very moment. Next thing you need to do is pay off your debt. And then after that's all paid off is start to funnel money and get 3 to 6 months of expenses into a savings account. For most families, that runs around $20,000 to $40,000, right? If you're debt free, it doesn't take too long to really start to handle putting money aside to save that money and get it put aside. If you're self-employed, I recommend everyone that I work with that's self-employed to try to get 6 to 12 months of expenses. So if anything happened, you would have, 6 months to a year to figure things out and get back on your feet. But that's the first thing, is the emergency fund. The second thing is, when we're thinking about savings, is if you're trying to save for a large purchase, do it in a savings account. Put money aside. When you save up enough money, buy the thing. Don't try to shortcut saving the money. Don't say, well, I can just get this out of my retirement account and I could buy it now. Don't skip the line, right? Stand in line, wait your turn, buy the thing, right? Like the biggest thing is that I want it now, and it's really, really, really going to cost you. It's going to cost you more than you can imagine. The second thing that I recommend everyone to do is to really get a grasp on budgeting. This is a very, very effective and useful concept. I'm telling you, if you have never budgeted and you don't budget now, you are doing yourself a disservice. Please, please, please budget. It's not as, debilitating as you can imagine. It's not that hard. It's not that complicated. The mostly what makes budgeting complicated is the person doing it. They overcomplicate it. They make it difficult, and you don't have to do that. So don't try to make your budget this super complex thing. Be super basic with it. Get a budget and stick to it. The last thing, and this is a plug for myself, but financial coaching. If you're having trouble doing these things, budgeting, if you're having trouble getting your emergency fund together, if you're having trouble figuring out how you're going to set up your own finances and your own structure to reach your financial goals, reach out to me. Go to thefinancialmirror.org and schedule a free consultation. We'll see if a financial coach is right for you, but super beneficial, especially just getting started, getting on your feet and pushing you in the right direction. So challenge you, if that's something that you're interested in, just head over to the website and book a free consultation. We'll see if that works out for you. There are a multitude of reasons why people try to use this as a scapegoat. And it's like health and fitness and money are so similar. They're similar in that not everyone, but most people know what to do, yet they choose not to do it. Right? It's really like, most people know I shouldn't tap into that retirement account, but they do it anyways. And it's normally things like medical expenses. It's normally things like paying off a home or getting a down payment for a home. That's another big one, that people do. They'll pull out retirement savings to have a down payment for a home, right? Not a good idea. Not the greatest idea in the world. Actually, a terrible idea. So regardless of what your brain is telling you, regardless of what you're thinking, dipping into the retirement account is not the way to go. So hang in there, budget, get your emergency fund, reach out to me if you're interested in a financial coach or any other. It's not just me. Reach out to someone else. If you're found someone, or you think that you know someone that could help you with financial coaching, please reach out to that person. Just get started today on putting yourself in the right position to withstand any type of emergency, any type of cost that comes in that normally people would tap into their retirement account. So hopefully you got something out of this episode. Biggest key points I wanted to take away from today was the compound interest, and how the cost of taking money out of a retirement account is not just the cost you see. It's the cost you don't see. It's that future value. It's that taking $10,000 out now, but really it's costing me $25,000 in my account, right? In my future value of my account. So that's what I wanted to get across to you. Hopefully that landed. Hopefully you got to see some of those long-term costs, pieces that people tend to overlook. Look at that immediate cost. Like, what's that? Oh, I'll pay the 10%. Oh, I'll pay the income tax, and like life will go on. But it's not just that. It's so much more than that. So I hope that landed. And you are now second guessing ever pulling money out of your retirement account. Maybe you weren't ever thinking about it, but now when that voice creeps in, you can squash it and say, get out of here. We're not doing that. So, big thing. Hopefully you enjoyed that. If you do want to head over to thefinancialmirror.org and get you a financial coach, happy to do it. Just go over to the website, hit book now in the middle of the screen, schedule a free consultation today, and we'll see if it's right for you. We'll get you on the schedule. We'll get started, and we'll get a package that'll work out for you. If you do want to give extra dose of support to the stream, head over to thefinancialmirror.org/shop. Pick you up some awesome Financial Mirror gear. Truly hope you got something out of this episode. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, leave a 5-star review and a written comment. Both go a long way in getting this information out to more listeners. Really hope you got something out of this. Really hope that you are able to take this and knock away that voice whenever that sneaks in on you, because it is more than just the immediate cost when you dip into your retirement savings. So till next week, continue improving the one thing you can control, yourself. Peace.
Well, that wraps up today's Financial Mirror. Join us next week as we continue to work on ourselves, change our mentality, and to commit to achieving the success we always envisioned. Regardless of your platform, help us grow as a community. Please like, subscribe, and share with the people in your lives.